Nanbu Hishizashi comes from the Nanbu region of Aomori Prefecture, located in northern Japan. It's a traditional craft that is deeply connected to the natural environment of the region. Aomori is blessed with an abundance of nature and culture throughout all the 4 seasons. There are many traditional summer festivals, such as the Tachi Neputa Festival in Goshokawara City. These festival floats are handmade and go up to 20 meters tall. In Hachinohe City, there is the Sansha Taisai Festival. This festival began more than 200 years ago and was a ritual to pray for a good harvest at the local shrines. The summertime can be humid, but it's usually cooler and more pleasant compared to other parts of Japan. Autumn is short and bittersweet, defined by bright-colored leaves and fresh, crisp air. And before we know it, it's winter. The temperatures will drop well down below 0 degrees Celsius, and it'll usually start snowing at least once in November. The air turns into biting winds, and the ground is very icy under the snow. Winter in northern Japan has especially harsh conditions. But it is very beautiful. There is another traditional festival that takes place in Hachinohe City, but this time in the winter, around February. It's called Enburi, and it's said to welcome the coming of spring and also pray for another year of good harvest. A dance is performed to signify sowing seeds and planting seedlings, and they use a traditional farm tool to flatten the ground and wake up the gods of the fields. The blooming of early spring flowers is a welcome sight. Plum blossoms, cherry blossoms, every flower and tree starts to push out their new buds, turning everything bright and tender green. This is the history of Hishizashi. Around 300 years ago, during the Edo period, commoners were not allowed to wear cotton due to the ban on luxury items. So people harvested native hemp and turned it into thread and hand wove it into fabric. Since it was cold, they used leftover cotton threads to stitch into the fabric to make it warmer and stronger. This was the beginning of the Hishizashi stitch, which was created in a beautiful diamond-shaped pattern. The Hishizashi motifs are made from things found in the natural world, such as plum blossoms, peach blossoms, rice fields, and more. And it was the women who developed Nanbu Hishizashi and worked on the embroidery. In today's modern world, stitching is no longer necessary for keeping warm and reinforcing our clothes. However, we carry on the culture of Hishizashi to preserve the wisdom of our ancestors and learn from their way of life. We hand dye these cotton threads using native plants in the local area in order to create Hishizashi. And with each changing season, we are blessed with a variety of natural materials to use for our plant dyes. marigold, akane root, tree bark, and many different foraged weeds and berries. While we still use traditional motifs found in nature, such as plum blossoms, for our Hishizashi designs today, we also experiment creating designs for modern daily life. We also adapt the traditional designs for items used in a typical household, such as pillow covers, handbags, shawls, and more. Although we no longer need the skill of Hishizashi in order to survive, we find that when we make things by hand, slowly and with intention, it helps to enrich our lives. In a way, these traditions protect us and bring us peace and abundance.